Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I've been disappeared for quite a long time because I was in overseas. So I went back to Hong Kong and Shanghai for about 4 weeks, and I spent 2 weeks in Hong Kong and 2 weeks in Shanghai. Today I just want to do a catch up to let you guys know where did I go. I hope this video will be still interesting to you though. So this trip, I need to go to 2 places. One is Hong Kong and the other one is Shanghai. So the ultimate destination is Shanghai. So therefore, I flew through Cathay Pacific, because if I fly through Cathay Pacific, I can fly direct to Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong to Shanghai. I don't need to pay extra, I think. The first stop from Auckland to Hong Kong, I stayed in Hong Kong for about 7 nights, and then I went to Shanghai. So in Shanghai, I spent about 2 weeks there. After that, I flew back to Hong Kong and stayed in Hong Kong for another 5 nights. And then I flew back to Auckland. So therefore, the total time for this trip is about 4 weeks. I haven't been back to Hong Kong for about 10 years. So I was kind of like excited when I landed Hong Kong airport. So you can see I was very excited at that time.
Yeah, I'm landed Hong Kong airport just now. 10 years haven't been back now. So excited.
Before I went for my trip, I actually planned to do more like daily vlogging to record my trip. However, it was totally failed. I could only make it to the moment that I arrived at the hotel room. So I did a very brief sort of hotel room tour. So I'll show you guys what I did. So when I get into the hotel, this is the toilet it's quite clean. Looks like just newly renovated. It's quite small, but there's a shower box here. It looks quite clean and nice. Hi. So, and then this is the room. Yeah, that's all I make for my vlogging, because actually it was kind of stressful when I was in Hong Kong, because I went back not only for sightseeing or visiting my friends. I went back for some personal things that I need to sort out in Hong Kong. So the whole days I felt like very stressful, and I didn't want to make any videos at all. I just videoed some clips that I want to remember how Hong Kong still looks like. So I just videoed the street scenes, and I visited some places that I grew up. This trip I went with my mom, so we stayed in a hotel at Mong Kok. Why I chose this hotel, just because all my time when I was living in Hong Kong, I was actually living, I could say, around the Prince Edward MTR station or Mong Kok. Our last home was in a place called Ho Man Tin, but it is still very close to Yau Ma Tei MTR station. So I was kind of like my whole time living in Hong Kong was around Prince Edward MTR station, Mong Kok MTR station. We are very familiar with the whole area. This is the main reason that we chose to stay in this hotel, which basically was in between a few of my old homes when I was living in Hong Kong. So most of my time I actually was just browsing around Mong Kok area, and because Mong Kok is an old suburb, so not much. I mean, the buildings or the street, not much. There's not much changed since I left 10 years ago, or more than 10 years since I left about 12 years ago. Still, there are lots of old buildings and high-rise. Basically, Mong Kok is a very crowded and busy suburb. I also had a chance to walk past this place called Nathan Center. My father used to have an office there, and my family we've been hanging around for quite a long time. I also managed to go to Times Square, which is in Causeway Bay. That's the only time that I went to the Hong Kong Island side. My mom and I, we also did a little bit sightseeing. We went to Zilin Nursery. This is a Buddhist temple, and we are Buddhists. So we never been to this temple before when we were living in Hong Kong. So this time I took my mom to visit the Zilin Nursery. It's such a beautiful and peaceful temple. It's like in the middle of a busy suburb called Diamond Hill in Hong Kong, in Kowloon side. But when you just walk inside, it is very peaceful and beautiful. We also had a vegetarian lunch there. So the view was so beautiful. The restaurant was like just out inside this beautiful scene. Apart from that, my only fond memories in Hong Kong this time, I think, is the food. I didn't really go to any fancy restaurants to have any fancy meals. All the food that I was trying to eat was those like street food. It's the daily food that Hong Kong people eat. So that's the most memorable food that I had, and that's the food that I really want to go back and eat again. So I managed to have different kinds of sort of like the Hong Kong style breakfast. Also, I had lots of this kind of noodle soups. So the fish ball, the beef noodle, wonton noodle soup. It was so yummy. I think the first about 4 days, when I was in Hong Kong, weather was actually quite good. It wasn't too hot. It was about like 20 something, about 25 or 26. And it was sunny. But during the last 3 days before we left for Shanghai, weather suddenly changed because there was a typhoon was approaching to Hong Kong, so which changed the weather. It was raining badly, heavily, and we could barely go out. You can see how bad the weather was. It was almost like pouring down. Then we went to Shanghai. This is the first clip that I went to Shanghai.
I just landed Shanghai airport finally.
Weather was not good in the first week in Shanghai as well. It was very wet. But luckily my cousin has a car, so she drove us around. We don't really need to work in the rain. Shanghai is my mom's hometown. We still have quite a lot of relatives from my mother's side are living in Shanghai. So during my 2 weeks in Shanghai, one of my cousins, it was her, accompanied us and took us around. She took us to quite a few of places, which was interesting. For example, she took us to this place. It's an old street. All the houses or the decor, they try to maintain the old days. It's like you went back to about 100 years ago, which was kind of cool. She also took us to a tea house. So we had some tea there. You see, I was kind of like excited. So I took a video of myself. This tea house is quite cool because they have some people playing the music. It was really like going back to the old days. And then my cousin took us to another, I think it's a scenic spot. The Chinese name is Seng Wang Miu. The English name is City God Temple of Shanghai. It's another scenic spot with lots of old buildings and lots of Shanghai traditional dumplings. Of course, you can't miss the night scene of Shanghai. The whole trip, I think the highlight was the food, because basically I tried all the food that I was always want to eat in Shanghai. Those many are like soup dumpling, noodles, lots of traditional Shanghai dim sum. This dry noodle is super yummy. Basically, I think it's just the oil, onion. Two of my cousins made a homemade dinner for us. So we had some traditional homemade dinner in Shanghai. On our second last day in Shanghai, my eldest cousin's son took us to a very fancy Western restaurant. The restaurant is just located outside the Bund, so it's a very fancy place. So we went to the Bund to just walk around and took some photos. I think this is just a scenic spot that almost every tourist will go. The restaurant is it's very westernized and it's very nice. I think if it's not him there, we definitely would not go there. The view outside the balcony was fantastic. Food is decent. It's Western food, so yeah. But it's a very good experience to try something different in Shanghai. Okay, that's what I did and what I ate when I was in Hong Kong and Shanghai. I hope you will like this video. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.